Hi, everyone. It's great to see, I can't see everybody, but it's great to be here. Paige, great to be with you. Thanks for joining us. How are
I'm
you?
doing well. Thanks for having me.
Good. How about those kind introductions from
I
Joel?
know, it was
Wow.
so sweet. Very sweet.
I don't think anybody said that many nice things about me
Aw.
in a webinar, so we'll have to do these more. So,
Make you feel good.
um, to echo Joel, we had an incredible first impression with you and at CBF
Aw.
Live in Dallas earlier this year, really just a couple of months ago. We're excited to learn from you. And so I'd love to just kind of kick off our conversation and really, talk about what it's like to start a business and in particular, a cleaning business. Joel mentioned that you had come out of this hardship, that there was this focus around really, supporting your family. And so I'd love to, if maybe you could talk to us about what it was like starting your business and what was the plan?
Sure, absolutely. So I am, or I should say was, a dental hygienist by trade. So I went to school, I did my schooling. I had been a hygienist for 8 years or so. And the pandemic happened, and I lost my position as a hygienist because I have 3 kids. They're amazing, but it's time consuming. You have to find sitters, people to get them on and off the bus. And when COVID hit, my oldest was doing homeschool because their schools were shut down. So, I worked really hard to be a hygienist and I loved what I did, but it just wasn't working anymore for my family. And, as a hygienist or as most people in the health field, they have to work early and they have to work late to accommodate everybody else who works early and late. I actually sat down one night and I thought to myself, what could I be doing to not only help myself or, make money for my family while being more flexible, but what can I do to help other people out there that are in my same exact situation? And while I didn't have much experience cleaning houses, I did clean teeth. So I did a little bit of research and I didn't have a lot of money to get started. So I was typing in, what is a good business to start without a huge, fund to draw from. So a cleaning business was one of them. And that is what I tackled. I just went in, I just started doing a lot of research in both the cleaning industry and also my area. And there was a huge need for it. So that's where it just started. I knew I needed to change my lifestyle and I really wanted to help others. So that was my driving force behind it.
Got it. And I have to ask, I'm curious, what were some of the other considerations or what was on the table for things that you could have done even outside of cleaning?
Honestly, that was like one of the first. I can't even remember any other ones. That's the one that stuck out to me, and I just ran with it. I did some cleaning back. That was like one of my very first jobs for one of my mom's friends at her work. Is I went and cleaned her house every Sunday. So I was like, I think I can do this. I'm just gonna run with it, and I just started researching the heck out of everything, and
It's
here
incredible.
we are.
Tell us a little bit about, you talked about looking for a low cost, low barrier to entry. Did you put together a business plan and did you sit down and say, okay, this is the amount of money and budget that I have to go and start this? What was was there a business plan at all, or was it just go get customers?
So that is one thing I wish I would have been a little bit more organized with doing because I don't want to say waste, but I did throw away a lot of money buying and like trying things that I didn't end up needing. I know I had around about like $1,000. That's it. That's all I had. So I wish I would have sat down and said, hey, I'm going to use this much for that much. So I can't say I did that. For someone who is starting a new business, I'd say that is a really, really good idea. Or else you end up spending hundreds of dollars on things that weren't necessary to kind of get you off and started. So
What a cool story to be able to say I've grown this business starting with $1,000 and
yeah.
truly feels like the American dream.
Yeah.
And
And I started with the mindset of growth. A lot of people start businesses themselves, which I did. I went out, I did the cleaning, I did the call, I did everything on my own. I knew that the only way for me to be able to be a good leader was to put myself in my employee's position. So it didn't take me long, but I did. I was doing all the cleaning, all the marketing, all the pay, collecting payments and things like that on my own. So, but I had growth in my brain. So that's where the business plan, I did have some sort of business plan. I knew I wanted to, grow my business to make it a bit, a thriving, profitable business, as well as make it a lifestyle for my employees. So.
interesting. And so you took on all of these roles. You became this owner operator, and I really admire the servant leadership that you took on there as well. Shifting gears, I want to talk a little bit about competition. And given what you've just shared with us today, that if you can take $1,000, with a decent plan and a focused mindset around growth, you can go and start a residential cleaning business, which is probably really attractive to hundreds of thousands of Americans, and probably sparks the question: could I do this? Could I be successful? How do you think about standing out from other residential cleaning businesses from a competitive standpoint?
Sure. So I think it is important to look at, the different businesses that are around you and like kind of see what they're doing that you might like or what you don't like. But it is important to remember that what they are doing or not doing isn't necessarily what you should be or shouldn't doing. So don't get too blinded by looking at your competition, because at the end of the day, they're not you. You can pull good and bad aspects from what you are seeing, but I think when it comes down to it, you kind of have to put yourself in the shoes of the people that you're trying to attract. So if you're trying to attract, an audience that is looking just for the cheapest price, then you're obviously going to do and market a little bit differently and advertise differently than someone who is trying to attract better paying customers. And it's not so much that you want to make more money, it's that you want good employees and you want your employees to make good money. So, just being and looking professional, getting a professional website, not one that's, sorry if this is anyone, but GoDaddy.com where like the words don't line up or the pitch, invest in a good, software that can, and, I did my website on my own at first. So, there are ones out there that are still affordable, but very professional, and just, it takes time and effort, and you got to be able to put in that time and have that drive. But, wear, your uniforms and you kind of have to market to those that you want to attract. Does that make sense? And,
Yes.
what your other businesses are doing out there, you either take or make sure you don't do what they're doing. Does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah. So I love how you were thinking about things that you wanted to emulate in a business, and then things you really didn't like. You mentioned pricing, you mentioned websites, uniforms. What were some things that you maybe wanted to avoid, or what are some things that you saw in businesses that you said, that is not me, and that's not the type of cleaning company that I'd like to run?
Yeah, so I might get a lot of drawback for this because I know a lot of businesses out there do that, and we have shared some things in the past, but I don't want the people that are our service to have like their homes posted all over our website, like befores and afters. To me, that's important. Their privacy is important. So that's something that, I saw a lot in like some of the smaller like businesses. I see them just like posting tons of before and after. And if it were me, I kind of like put myself in the type of clients that I wanted to attract. I really wouldn't want that. So that's one thing that we kind of use, we are looking forward to rebranding and getting some pictures of our employees and things like that on our website. But we use more of like stock photos and things like that for, just general pictures on our website, because I want everyone to feel that, that we're not judging them for their home, or, oh, hey, this is a great before and after picture. Do you mind if I take that and share that? So you don't necessarily need those things to gain clients. So we try to stay away from that. Another thing that I found for my business, I know I didn't want, was just the hassle of going through the whole quote process and like hiding prices and like things like that. So I'm very upfront about what our pricing is like. I have an estimate form built onto our website that is through our CRM that we use. It's like a booking form basically. So they pretty much know what their services are going to cost before we even call them. I think that eliminates so many steps for the business itself. A lot of people are just shopping, which is perfectly fine. Everyone's going to have, different prices, but I just think that was the one thing when I'm scrolling through something, I don't want to have to talk to someone over the phone for 20 minutes. And I kind of want to know, okay, is this in my price range or out of my price range? So there's that. And then another thing that I found when I did a little bit of research is a lot of clients are looking for a hassle-free. They're looking for hassle-free. So we take credit cards, we keep them on file. They don't have to worry about leaving a check or cash or anything, worry about like invoice and everything like that. Everything's just already set, and we press the button, we send them the receipt, and it's done. So those are the three things that I really, when I was looking at my competitors, I really wanted us to stand out in that way.
It's impressive. And I think it speaks highly of you as a leader and a business owner, as somebody who's very genuine and upfront in general in our interactions, how that's kind of lended itself into the way that you run and operate your business, through protecting the privacy of your customers, being transparent about your pricing. And then I love how you're thinking about hassle-free. In our world, we call that customer experience, right? Which is, critical in today's world when, everybody is relying on online reviews and other people's opinions to know what is Paige's experience actually like versus what her website may show.
Right.
Something I've noticed in our conversation today, you've mentioned your employees multiple times, and I can tell you're very proud of the team you've built. But going back to kind of your founding story and starting days, how did you first find people, and what was that recruiting process like?
So when you have a very small $1,000 budget, I used a lot of Facebook posts. I think it has changed, but they used to have Facebook jobs. So that is where I found my very first employee. And it was wonderful. I mean, I kind of just, I didn't know what I was doing. And I think that's where everyone has to start at some point. So you kind of just got to throw yourself out there. And I know it's nerve wracking. And, I just kind of made a post and put myself out there, and, we met and it was great. I had a couple other interviews that didn't work out well, but the girl that ended up getting the position was a great fit at the time. So I've relied heavily on just like posting in my local, like we live in Youngstown, Ohio. So there's like a couple of different small counties that are around us. So I kind of posted a lot of those Facebook pages and things like that. But I am looking into, as we continue to grow faster, there's a ton of, we have Indeed and ZipRecruiter. But for the cleaning industry, there is something called Woot Recruit. And I'm not sure a lot of people have heard about it yet. But it's, it's a little bit more of an investment, but it's a really great investment, and you should definitely look into it. So I'm excited to, to look into them a little bit more. I've been hearing a lot of success. So it's
Great.
a recruiting company. So
Okay. So, and we love recruiting companies, so we'll make sure to get a link out to the audience and share that in the chat as well. I'm really curious, what stood out about this one candidate that you were like, hey, this is a must hire? What were those qualities that you looked for, and how did they stand out?
So the first thing that was really that stood out to me was the amount of time she was at her last position.
Okay.
She was only a few years younger than me. I'm 30. I know I'm a baby. But she was a couple years younger than me at the time, and she had been there for like, I want to say like 6 years, which
Oh,
is like insane for someone so young. So that really stood out. That showed me that she's loyal, that she's a good worker. And she was very kind and genuine. And we were wearing masks, which everyone was back then. So, even though I couldn't see her whole face, I knew she was a kind person. She was an expressive talker. I knew that she'd be able to, be one-on-one with our clients, and I would feel comfortable sending her into the homes.
no, that's very helpful. And then curious, I mean, as we talk to businesses today, we hear all kinds of challenges around not only the finding, great employees, but keeping them and keeping them motivated and excited about what they're doing. What are some of your tactics today to improve or make, employee retention even better?
Sure. So I will say when I first started my business, even though I knew I really wanted employees, I didn't really know those steps in hiring and keeping and retaining great employees. So where we met at CBF, I is where I met you, and I learned a lot that weekend. And as I go forth through their program, that your employees are your biggest asset. You wouldn't be anything without them. And I think, a lot of times before pre-COVID, we kind of took a lot of that for granted as business owners. And it was always like customer first, customer first, customer first. So the one great thing that came out of COVID was, we learned to kind of step back and say, wait, like our lives are important, that, not that our clients' lives aren't awesome and important and that we value them, but we have to really start valuing ourselves and also the people that are working for us. Because if you don't have great employees, you're not going to have any customers or any clients. So just a couple of the things that I really try to work on is just creating like a good environment for them to be in. So one that's safe, one that's positive, one that if they make a mistake, they're not going to, not want to share with me how to fix it or how to make it better. So just creating like a really good culture for them, rewarding them, celebrating all the big milestones, birthdays, and, if they get Google reviews and like things like that, we offer like little bonuses and stuff for them too, to just feel proud of themselves and treat themselves a little bit. But I think the number one thing that impacts your employee retention is just like getting the right players on your team. So, there is a lot of times when we feel like, okay, a ton of clients are, a ton of people are calling in. I have nowhere to put these houses. I got to hire. And we kind of get ourselves in a pickle because we'll interview a couple of people and we're like, oh yeah, I think they'll work out. They'll be great. And in the back of your head, you're thinking, oh no, like a lot of red flags, but you hire them anyway because you're a little bit more on the desperate side. And then it ends up being a disaster, just like that gut feeling told you. So, having a system of that, like, I guess you can say like an avatar, what your A player would be, and really trying to not hire anyone other than like your B player. So, just knowing what type of employee you want and making sure you only hire those type of employees, that is huge on retention, because the people that are turning over are the people that you knew wouldn't work out anyways. So, just hiring those A players and keeping them happy, paying them well, making them feel like they're part of something, but also, facilitating like autonomy and helping them, grow as a person in that aspect too, I think is very important. And that's what people are looking for.
We've talked about, starting your business. We've talked about, finding great people and your process and journey and your first hire to, how you treat them. Do you feel that training and coaching for your employees is important? And what does that look like in your organization today?
Absolutely. So that is something I think I'm constantly working on. And that is something that I actually am trying to be a little bit more systemized with, because what person wants to start a job and like the person training them is like, yeah, we kind of do it this way and that way. Like me, I'm the kind of person, I learn fast, but I want to know how to do it right. And I think if you systematize like your whole process of, from beginning to end, how you train your employees, I think that they would be a lot more appreciative of that and feel more confident as they go in alone. All of our girls are mostly solo cleaners. Some of the bigger houses, they'll go together, but just, I don't know, just trying to be clear and concise about your hiring process as well as your training process. So, write everything down, have, each day lined out with what exactly you want to do each day. Don't overwhelm them with too many things, making sure you're keeping them with that same trainer. And another big thing is as we grow, right now I'm doing the training, but as we grow, there will be other employees that I'll hand the training off to. So if I keep everything up here, and I'm the only one who knows how to train somebody, it's not going to help me grow and scale my business. So just writing everything down, having a clear and concise plan each day, and just being upfront and honest with the people who you are bringing on, like, this is what we expect. I think that, that really helps both the employee that you're bringing on and the employer have a very clear understanding of what the whole process is going to look like, and get them excited and feel like they're going to be successful and actually help them be successful at what they're doing. So did I answer your
As you're talking, I'm thinking about, I've kind of formed this like triangle in my mind about these characteristics, right? So, and keep me honest, I'm thinking about the quality of the work that you're delivering. I'm thinking about the safety of your employees, because you mentioned sometimes they're solo going into homes, which, sometimes you never know what you can get there. And then you think about professionalism, right? Smiling,
reading
saying thank
them?
you. Yeah, just kind of
Not going, whoa, what happened here? No.
Yeah. So between quality, safety, and professionalism, how do you rank order those, and what would matter most in your opinion?
So I learned very early on that no one is going to clean like I will or invest as much effort into things as I do. So I don't want to say quality is last, because it is not. Like, that's a really hard question. But quality is on the triangle, it is the lowest for me, because I feel like no one is perfect. And when you look back to your previous jobs and, you pretty much made a mistake every day. So even though I want them to do a good job and try their best, quality is not necessarily on the highest for me. Now we do have clear, concise, checklists and things that I do expect to happen. But, if they leave a dust bunny here or there, I'm okay with that. But them being professional is probably on the top for me. Obviously, I want them to be safe, and it's really important. And, we do training on that and such. But if you're professional, it just makes you stand out from any other company. And I think what a lot of people that I bring on are looking for is something that is better than where they came from. So, the cleaning business can get a little bit of a bad rap and a bad, people think, oh, well, why would you want to go scrub toilets? But if you present this job to these employees as well as your clients as like something that is professional and does require training and continuous training, then I feel like it's going to make those employees feel so much better about themselves. And
so my second to last question, let's talk about technology, right? And I'm curious how technology has improved your business. What does that look like? What does that investment look like? Obviously
Sure.
different today than when you started with it. But
So when I first started, I had a computer and a paper calendar. Technology either makes or breaks the growth of your business in general. There's only so much time in a day, and especially if you're the person doing most of the work right now, technology is so important. It decreases the amount of time you're actually, doing something, so that you have more time for other things that are going to help grow your business. So, the first thing I knew I needed was a very good CRM, which is something to schedule my clients. I have a calendar view. I can add all of my employees on there. I can have all the information about each specific house on there, so that I'm not having to print things out and give them out, and it stays on there. So if anyone had any questions, instead of always coming to me, they can go and review all the notes. We leave notes when, if anything were to happen during the cleaning, or, if something breaks or something, it could be anything. They got a new, anything, it's all on there. So that has been super helpful. That saved me so much time. It also, a lot of CRMs nowadays have a lot of automated things, which are amazing. I was sending reminder texts, I was spending hours doing that. So that was great. They send automatic reminders, they send emails. You can send after you're done, you can send an email to get a review or different things, tell them about how you're taking on new clients and referral programs and things like that. You can do different campaigns that way, which is great. But the next level is finding technology that can help you grow. So I think it's pretty much impossible nowadays. I shouldn't say impossible, but it's darn near impossible to grow and scale a business without technology, without having systems in place such as on my website, I have my instant estimate form. So that collects all of their information. Now, when someone calls me directly, we have to go through all of that. And that takes at least a half hour to an hour to sit there and talk to them and tell me their needs and write down their address and talk about all those things that, boom, it can be there and they could do it. And then you basically, and with the touch of a button, you receive all that information, and that saves you so much time. So without technology, you're just looking at either yourself or whoever your employee is spending so much more time.
So what I heard is go find a CRM.
Absolutely.
Think about automation and where automation and really communication with your team members and your customers can happen. And then get an intake form for your leads to be able to help your website convert leads for you, so that you're not just dependent on the phone and having a long conversation with somebody who wants to talk cleaning with you. So very, very good to know. Well, maybe just as a final question, I'd love for you to share with our audience today, if you had one piece of advice that you would give somebody who's just starting to think about their cleaning business, or maybe somebody who has a successful cleaning business but is ready to start scaling, what would be that advice, and what insight would you share with them today?
Oh, so many things, but I'll try to narrow it down here. So the first thing would be to not listen to everyone around you, unless it's people that are doing what you're doing. So surround yourself by people that are doing what you're doing, because everybody else around you, and it might even be your closest family members or friends, even be your spouse, they're going to try to talk you down and say, oh, that's impossible. Oh, you can't do that. So don't listen to all of the noise, and just stay focused and write your goals down and just start tackling away at them. And it might not happen overnight, but if you're writing those goals down and you're looking at them every day, and you're surrounding yourself with other people who are either going towards the level you want or at that level you're searching for, then you're going to get there. And there's going to be bad days. And there's going to be days that you want to feel like you want to give up, you want to throw in the towel. But usually it's, when you get through to that next thing is when you grow and you start to hit those goals, and you just keep going from there.
So what I heard is, be resilient, stay focused. When we focus, we win.
Absolutely.
And we want to make sure that, we never settle and always looking to level up and deliver a best in class experience.